Good evening, ladies and gents. So this is the second Content Creators Podcast. So this time I've got a few more guests on it than I did last time, and we do cover a whole range of different discussions this week. So we start off with Season 3, then we go into Season 4, and then we discuss a few other bits and bobs as well, which are coming to the game, which you definitely do not want to miss our chat on. So this time around, there's 7 of us in this podcast. However, it doesn't go crazy. It's all controlled. We're all professional, and it works really well. Actually, I really enjoyed this week. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please do subscribe, because this is the home of the Content Creator Conquerors Blade Podcast. They are streamed onto different channels as well. However, they will always be recorded and put onto this channel, as well as all the other Conquerors Blade stuff that I do as well. So get subscribed, get notified, and I will catch you at the end of this podcast. So starting with Evo, if you want to just introduce your channels, what you kind of do on those channels, that would be great.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I mostly just do YouTube videos. I don't really stream so much, but yeah, just mostly focused around Conquerors Blade. Occasionally dabble in the other games, but yeah, mostly Conquerors Blade, just sort of charting different units. A few tutorial stuff's my own experience. Mostly trying to improve and learning from my mistakes and stuff like that. So yeah.
Awesome. Hjulstad, what kind of content do you do on yours?
Yeah, so I focus mainly on streaming. And then I sometimes take those clips to make YouTube videos. My stream focuses mainly on helping new players get into the game so that I can come and ask questions, and I try to help them and show them different units they want to see.
Awesome. Mouflon? Mouflon?
We lost one.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. There he is.
Okay, cool. No, I hope you can hear me okay. Sorry, I was just increasing my gain because somebody said they could hear you guys louder than me, so I just tried to increase it just slightly. Yeah, so I mostly stream, do streaming of Conquerors Blade, mostly Siege battles and stuff like that, and also run Universal Gamers Federation, which is a community that does we play loads of survival games and anything co-op, to be honest. Actually, we've kind of broadened quite a lot into loads of different games. Conquerors Blade is just one of them.
Awesome. So, Mr. Rigz?
Oh, yeah, push to talk. I'm kind of in the same line as Mouflon. I lead a gaming community called the 10th Space Marines with a couple of other guys. We're focused on quite a few games, but Conquerors Blade is the main star for us right now. I deal with just streaming with new players for pretty much any of the games that our community plays and teach them how to play.
Sweet. Rod?
I mainly Twitch stream, mainly Conquerors Blade, but variety of games, and I pretty much just complain about it for 6 hours a day during stream.
Nice sell, Rod.
Well, not just Conquerors Blade. I complain about everything, really.
And Zim?
I make informative guides on YouTube, and then I also stream. I have a new show that I'm actually doing called The Aftermath, where I'm interviewing houses from North America with their leaders and digging into their past and kind of learning about different houses and all the different regions and the communities that they have. And yeah, that's about it. And I do this podcast with you guys, which is pretty fun.
Awesome. So, Zimster's new show, his Aftermath show that he's just spoken about, what I'm going to be doing is we're streaming this podcast live to a couple of channels, but I'm also recording this as well. So anyone that hasn't been able to catch it live, it will be recorded and put up onto my channel, onto YouTube, just like the first one is. But for people that are watching the recording of this, I'm flashing up an image on the screen right now, actually showing you where you can catch Zimster's Aftermath show, how to go about getting him on Twitch, and actually what it's all about as well. So I run Coffee Fuel Gaming, and I kind of do a bit of everything really. I do a bit of streaming and I do a bit of YouTubing. My YouTubing seems to be more tailored towards walkthroughs, guides, and news, especially at the minute, covering pretty much everything season 4, which actually was quite a shock. I think not just to me, but I think to everyone. Actually, how early they announced season 4, I definitely wasn't expecting it. Were any of you expecting that announcement so soon?
No, not at all. It was pretty early, it seemed, but it seems like time's kind of flying. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's, they're not finished unlocking and leveling all the season 3 units yet. Never mind. Season
Yeah.
So I can't actually
4
remember
already.
how much gap was there between season 2 and season 3. It was about a month or so, wasn't it?
It was a very long time. We a lot more time due to the corona, unfortunately, for season 2. So it seems a lot less time that we have in season 3 specifically because of that, I'll say.
Yeah. They posted a lot of extensions onto the end of season 2, I think. Just kept tacking on a couple of extra weeks to the challenges to keep it going.
Yeah, it's well, obviously we're still facing the corona and everything, but I think that everyone's starting to normalise a little bit now as well, aren't they? We're just starting to get things back to how it was, luckily. So what we're going to do is, after all our introductions and everything that we've just done, we're going to move on to a couple of topics. Now, anyone that's watching any of the streams, so I know Zimster is streaming, and I'm pretty sure you're streaming as well, Mouflon, aren't you, right now?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
So anyone on those channels that's listening, feel free to ask us any questions during the stream, and we'll get to those right at the end of the podcast. So I've had a couple of questions asked on my YouTube, which I'll bring up later on. But first, we've just got a couple of topics that we want to all kind of cover between us. First off being, really, we've already dabbled into it, but season 3, your thoughts, your feelings on it. How do you think it went in comparison to earlier seasons? Do you think Booming is starting to go is it Booming or whoever runs ours? I keep getting them mixed up. Whoever runs ours, do you think they're starting to now get to a place where actually the seasons are really good, really efficient? And what are you thinking in comparison to, say, the first season? How this season's gone? Anyone feel free to jump in. So,
Well, I'll start. I mean, I think we can all agree that season 3 has probably been the best season so far. I think the introduction of the mole was something that kind of excited a lot of people, and thought the range of units that they introduced were quite fantastic as well. So I think people really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think it's certainly heading in the right direction. I think perhaps efficient might be a strong word, but
Yeah, efficient.
we're sort of nudging 2 steps forward, 1 step back, perhaps in certain areas. But yeah, I think things are starting to get out there a little bit better. I think we definitely saw right at the start some localization issues with like some of the texts on what the mission challenges were and things like that. Some little niggly things that kind of got in the way a little bit at the beginning, but I think they sorted them out. So yeah, I think we're getting there.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say we're getting there. We're close, but there's still there was a few things that obviously went wrong, but I think in the grand scheme of things, the season was pretty flawless, and the units seemed to balance themselves into the game pretty well, along with them all.
So Rigz or Zim, have you got any thoughts on season 3? So now we're coming to the end of it.
Yeah, I'd say the second half of season 3 would have been the best, when they ended up rebalancing a lot of the things. The mall, especially, being able to get balanced and not infinitely carry people, like actually relying on its stamina bar instead of pick up whoever and run away with them. That was a really good change that they made. I can say in the second half of season 3, they took any criticisms that they received in the first and actually did something with it, which is a really huge deal for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things that I think that they still, I'm actually amazed how fast they managed to fix the palace issue. That, in my opinion, it went faster than I would expect it. But overall, I think the season was really good, and a pure improvement from season 2 overall. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Anything else to add, Sim? I don't think you've said anything yet, have you?
So you also mentioned other seasons too, like 1 and 2, like differences.
Yeah.
I started mid season 2, so I started like right when Borderlands opened last season, and being able to go through the whole season was a new experience for me. So it was pretty exciting. I'd have to say it was actually pretty cool to see like your house grow throughout a season, because it's kind of interesting all the things that happen, throughout a whole season. It's the game definitely changed a bit, and the new units were kind of, I would say, OP, expected, right? But hopefully with the season 4 updates, you will see some new balancing going on.
So all in all, then are we in agreement that actually season 3 has been a success?
Yeah, I think it's definitely been a success. I do have one question from someone said that they reckon that there should be more glory weekly, as they felt probably because they couldn't come on as much, and so felt that there was more benefit for people that were just at home and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an issue with every game though, and is generally if you have more time to invest in a game, you are going to get more rewards out of it.
I think they felt because they've done almost all of the week's opportunities fully, so they just felt that maybe because they've done their weekly thing, they've just been penalized because they haven't stayed on until the early hours of the morning, let's say.
I was going to say that I think the sad truth about this game is that you have to put in a lot of hours. It's not one of those games where you can just do the weeklies and keep up, in a sense. The people who are the higher levels, granted there's been the advantage of the coronavirus going around and people not being able to go outside, but it's like you have to be playing sieges every day, you have to be doing X, Y, and Z in order to progress through the season.
Perhaps a question might be, out of curiosity, what's everyone's approximately battle pass rank then? Has everyone made it to 100?
I'm at 200 plus.
Yeah.
I'm
150, 150-ish.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly what I'm
100. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm probably about the same 130. I've definitely passed 100, but yeah, can't remember what. I think once you pass 100, you don't really concentrate on it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Or think about it. Yeah.
But it gives an indication. We probably all play a fair bit, but it gives an indication then how sort of with the amount of playing that we do, you can quite easily get to 100. I mean, obviously, once you get to 100, that's basically the end.
The goal, yeah.
So I mean, it's perhaps, it gives a bit of a sense of scale of grinding, perhaps.
I think the big thing: get a group, play in a group, and the time will go a lot quicker. Like if you're playing on your own, it's a long, lonely grind. If you once you're in a 4-stack or a 5-stack, then the time will fly on that battle pass.
Yeah, the one thing everyone's got to remember as well is actually this is a free-to-play game, and inherently in whatever free-to-play game you play, there is a massive grind. Yes, you can buy the battle pass, you can buy the premium, you can buy this, that, and the other, but there's no necessity, is there? So the way they get around that is by putting a massive grind wall into the game.
Yeah, and I do believe that starting out now with Conquerors Blade, you have a pretty good time, because at least when I started out last year, I think it was in September, there were like no guides around or anything. Now you have guys like, for example, Zimster and Evo. Like they do some really good stuff. There are a couple of more guys as well that do really nice guides and show how the game actually works. And there are people streaming that help you. And I can promise that if you take help from people that actually have played for a while, you're going to progress 5 times faster during the week, because the veteran players, they know the tricks that aren't time consuming.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been streaming lately with somebody that's low level, so they only started about a month and a half ago, and they're level 120 now, and they give a good fight. They're really enjoying the sieges and stuff. But and I'm kind of streaming with them, so obviously I'm much higher level than they are. and they're actually enjoying the sieges. And I think that's just down to obviously them sort of learning from the house as well, and just being given guidance on what units to sort of concentrate on as well. They're very active in TW as well, along my side, and I mean, I think he's a great player, to be honest. And like I said, he's only level 120, but he's he's really showing what he can achieve. Even people that are low levels in TW and Siege.
That's it, and I think even with low levels now, there is a lot of opportunity to actually enjoy the game fully with mercenary units, with auxiliary units, and everything that they've implemented into the game. It's definitely not an Iron Reaper fest. When I first joined, the people just grinded as quick as they could to Iron Reapers, and you knew once you come up against them, you're dead. That's it, because you're still at woodcutter level.
I think as well, I don't know if it's because before I did a lot of World of Tanks before I started YouTube, and I think the grind on there is significantly larger than the grind in this game. To get to a tier 10 tank, and as well, I think I know and I largely agree that the matchmaking system in Conquerors Blade isn't perfect, but one of its advantages is that you can't go back to say, Iron Cap Swordsman and then fight against everyone else who's got that tier unit. So you can't take. A lot of World of Tanks, one of the biggest problems is people go back to a low-tier tank and then just go around smashing all the new players. Well, because it's based on level rather than unit battle rating and such, you don't really get that. So that is one of the benefits of the way our matchmaking system works.
Yeah.
Question really quick, if I could.
Go
They
on.
were supposed to come out with ranked this season. You guys recall that?
I guess we don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah, we don't talk about it anymore. I heard it didn't do well on Frontier, so if people are wondering, that's what happened to it. So I know they mentioned it before. So
I think even if it hasn't worked well in Frontier, things like that, I think they may still try and implement it into our version of the game, because obviously we're a whole different audience. I personally haven't heard anything of it, and that's actually the first time I've even heard of the rank system, so I've totally missed a trick there. But
yeah, it was supposed to launch with the start of Season 3, I think, originally.
Yeah, I totally missed that one then.
Yeah,
Totally
they
dodged
talk
me.
about it here and there. It's not like they made a really big deal about it. They mentioned it, that it was going to happen. But it just didn't happen. So I'm curious then if they're just waiting for Season 4 or if they're kind of just waiting.
Yeah.
They also have the tournament server going on, so maybe they don't want too much stuff on their plate right away.
It's possible. We got to try the ranked battles right back at the start of Season 3, the Season 3 preview event. So they had it ready and implemented actually in the game, but they obviously chose not to deploy it for whatever reason. And I suspect we're not going to see it at the start of Season 4. I mean, I've not heard any mention of it from them since, so I think we'd have heard something probably if it was, but maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think it'll be in at the start, but if they've already created the system, I can't see them just getting rid of it that quickly and that easily. I think they'll probably try and change it up a little bit and push it in that way.
I think it goes back to, I was having a conversation in the official Discord a few days ago of like a 15 versus 15 house fight. I think we even spoke about it last Territory War, and somebody brought up the fact the problem with it is it pulls the veteran players out of matchmaking, which is now at the moment a large chunk of the player base. And something like that, again, the same issue. You're pulling players out who would just play ranked to get their season ranking up.
Yeah, but we, like I said,
obviously, yeah,
for everyone listening to this isn't official news or anything. This is just what we think's going to happen. So
Can I?
It will be interesting to see if something does happen with it.
Sorry, I was going to ask if I could backtrack real quick.
Yeah, that's right. Go on, Rigz.
So we were talking about like tips for the new players and everything. I did just want to say something for new players that may be listening to this. As we talked about veteran players knowing all these little tips and tricks. I won't go into detail for it, but if you do all your dailies and weeklies, right, and you could spend an hour on this a day to get most of them done, If you do all those things, just the little quests that the game asks you to do throughout the week, you're going to be giving yourself 659,900 XP, so almost more than 500,000 experience, more than 10 levels, 220,000 bronze, 15k house XP, and 126 prestige for your house. So the game does give you a lot of tools to advance and fund yourself. It's just looking for these things and understanding the quickest way to get those taken care of. Like that's how people become millionaires of bronze. They go for a month and they do all their weeklies and they're already done.
Yeah, so I hope that helps some people. So just get your weeklies done, because they are big, aren't they? They are big. So we're going to move on from Season 3 stuff now, and we're going to move into Season 4. So the things that have been announced from Season 4, we're looking at new maps, new hero attire, new units, and a few other new goodies as well. What are you all? I'm gonna list through your names, so just let me know what you're most looking forward to from Season 4. But just let me know what is probably the most exciting thing for you that's so far been officially announced for Season 4. So starting with you, Evo, what are you most looking forward to?
There's a few bits actually. I've always been sort of a bit of a Roman fan, so the fact that we're actually getting Constantinople as a city, even in more Ottoman form, is kind of cool. So I'm kind of pleased to see that. And then probably the golden era melee unit, which I'm not going to go and have an attempt at pronouncing. Someone else can try and do that. But yeah, I think it's nice. I think Iron Reapers are kind of just a charge-based unit and a little bit niche in a sense. So a proper, I'm hoping it's going to be a proper melee golden era unit. And I think that's something that we don't really have. So yeah, pleased for that.
Awesome. So Hjulstad?
Well, I'm mostly actually looking forward, like Evo said, the new Tier 5 melee unit. And since I have a Turkish guy in my house, I have to pronounce this or try. Siladars. Yeah, those and actually the Tier 4 swordsman. I'm a big fan of melee, and I've been trying since I started playing to make men-at-arms really work. And yeah, I need something more to try out now. And also I need new units level, because they're all max level. I'm starting to need something new to do.
Big flex.
Exactly.
Now, one question I have for you guys, just really quick. For melee units, would you guys consider javelins melee units?
No.
Yes.
No,
Hybrid,
right?
aren't they?
They're very hybrid, but what do you rely on the most is usually their throw, right, for the kill. So
Yeah.
like what I'm doing is an all melee tournament, and I'm kind of curious on if I should boot them or allow them in the tournament.
I would say boot them.
Yeah, I feel like they have an advantage, especially if they're by a supply point.
Yeah.
Sim, one
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, any
What
projectile.
tree? What tree do you find them in?
The melee tree.
Wait, what? Oh, you find them in melee, don't you? Yeah. That's what
So
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's a
No, I still
crossbreed
think-
type
I still
of
think,
unit.
you should kick them. Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
kick them.
I mean, it is draft, so
it's-
you
it's a
can
pro.
ban one
Yeah.
unit. You can ban one unit. Each team gets to ban one unit. So, and I don't think I'm gonna let T4 units in it, because I think T4 will be out by the time the tournament happens. So T3 and below.
So moving on from
Sorry for the random
That's
question.
alright.
You're talking about
No,
melee
that's alright,
units.
it's okay.
So sorry.
So Mouflon, what are you most looking forward to from Season 4?
Oh, definitely the Tier 5 melee units. I think that's going to definitely change the dynamic of Siege and stuff, and possibly even territory wars, hopefully. So I think there's been kind of quite an incentive to rein in rein in the range units, and just make it more kind of like hand combat and stuff like that. So kind of looking forward to that. I think I'm also looking forward to playing on the Constantinople map as well. I think that's going to be really good fun. So it looks fun. So kind of looking forward to that.
So the Tier 5 units so far are quite a big hit from what we've seen then, aren't they? So Rigz, What are you most looking forward to?
I am excited for two things. The placeable structures, as that leaves a whole slew of things that can come in the future. Like we're talking about barricades, we're talking about powder kegs. I'd love to place a powder keg around a corner and have somebody chase me with my musket boy ready to pop whoever comes around, right? That's going to be... Don't go around corners in Season 4, guys. And a tier 4 cavalry that can actually stand up against infantry. Like, monastics, that's your thing. To go walk around and stomp on anything, but to see a tier 4 cavalry that's able to survive and actually hurt people in prolonged combat, I'm really interested to see how that's going to affect the meta of the game.
Awesome. So, Rod?
Yeah, I pretty much agree. The units, the maps, but my big thing is aesthetics. So that new attire is like gold dust in my life right now. It's the only thing I want is that caped attire.
The cape.
It's
all
I
about
want
the
it.
cape. Isn't
I
it?
want to be on my horse,
Dude,
cape
just
flowing
'cause
in the
there's a cape.
wind, man. Like that's
Yeah,
bringing me back
yeah.
to Season 4 any day.
If there's no cape, not
Yeah,
interested.
no cape, no Ruddus.
So, Zim?
I think my biggest thing is the bow nerf buff, or whatever you want to call it.
Ooh.
I hate bow players. I hate them now for like how strong they are, but I feel like they're kind of getting a buff, but they're also getting a nerf at the same time.
So, for anyone that doesn't know, if you just explain, Zim, what actually is going to be happening to them. Zim?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to push to talk for a second. But really, so one thing is they're gonna have to start using sprint, right? And they're gonna have a charge that they're gonna be using also. They kind of have a charge already, but it doesn't take stamina like it's going to now. And I guess, is it gonna take HP too? I heard something about that also. I'm not sure.
I feel like that's a mistranslation.
Yeah. So pretty much you'll get this charge, and they actually can do more damage than they used to before by doing 110% damage instead of 100% damage when they fully charge. So it comes down to how you play them. But explosion got nerfed. 50% of the damage should disappear. So that's a big plus. They used to be able to kill.
News, no? Has this been
Yes,
released?
Asian
for us
server.
Yet?
Asian server.
Yeah. So yeah, like it might not be 100%.
Yeah.
Like what it is, but yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it because I for sure see it happening because Bo is very dominating right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think
So-
I play short bow, and I just feel that they haven't put enough love into the short bow. I mean, at the moment, if you look at the season 3, I think it was just before season 3 started, they showed the stats for the most popular warlords, and bow was second most popular. Short bow was bottom, and there was significant difference between the percentage of users from the bottom and second bottom. So it was like 3.5% for the short bow and 6% for the next one, and I can't remember what it is, but I'm sure I can find it.
So while you're trying to find that move, is there anything that's concerning you about Season 4 that's been officially announced so far? So we'll go back up the list this time. So we'll start with you, Zim. Is there anything concerning you?
I mean, again, it's a if, but the Nandachi rework looks pretty awesome. But I'm not going to go into it much because we're not 100% sure, right? So,
So bear in mind this may not happen to us, but it has happened in Frontier. You just give a very quick lowdown about what it is.
So for Nandachis, they're getting a ability called Bloodstain, and you can stack Bloodstain to heal yourself on the Nandachi. So it's like another sustain ability that they're adding to the Nandachi. I'm not sure what they changed on actual damage. I think they added more penetration, but yeah, that's as far as I remember. I've read it like once or twice, so I'm just curious on if that will come, and if it does, it'll make me very happy. Nadachi's been very underpowered for a little bit, and I think they noticed that, and they should really try to make it the sustain class that they wanted it to be. So that would be cool.
Awesome. So anything that's concerning you, Rod?
New maps, they always scare me. Like, it could not work. There could be a really broken meta on it. It's always the one thing that I think is pretty game breaking.
So while we're speaking about the maps, so one of the new maps features underground tunnels. What do you think about that, Rod? Do you think that's good, bad? Not sure yet.
From an outside, without playing the map view, I think it's a really good mechanic to introduce to the game. Like, it's another form of defense that you have to keep in mind. But playing it, as I said, could be game breaking. We don't know. You know, that's the one thing that kind of concerns me. Could be amazing. So, might be a bit like, oh, hang on a minute, this is OP. You know.
But until we play it, we
exactly.
Won't,
yeah.
We? So Rigz, anything concerning you?
Kind of the same thing. I'll just echo that the balancing and how the new units are going to work with the current meta. Janissaries especially even though they're tier 3, being able to shoot directly through shields and stop charges entirely. Can that stop a tier 5 unit like infantry? Can it stop everything? Is it like they don't give us a terrible amount of information for that, but I feel like a mass Janissaries instead of Imperial Arquebusers could really do some damage to people trying to move through. So that's a specific unit that I want to watch out for and see how it reacts to the meta.
Mouflon?
For me, I think it's just just based on what I was saying before, it's just how redundant the short bow is becoming compared to some of the other warlords. And I think with the units, they can always tweak a few things here and there and kind of find some balancing for them. And they've done that in the past. But with the warlords, I think, obviously it must be harder because of you're directly in a third person kind of control of it. So I think they're more reluctant to make major changes to the way they're being used as well. But yeah, I think that's what I'm kind of most concerned about, is just making a warlord redundant, such as the short bow.
Hjulstad?
I don't really have any concerns, to be honest.
What an optimist.
Nah, but I live by the rule that if I can't affect it, I don't put too much energy into it. So I'm just happy to have something new, and once we get it, we'll have to see what it is. But yeah, so no concerns. I'm just looking forward to it.
Good. Well, and finally you, Evo.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I don't have too many direct concerns about the season itself. I think probably, yes, there'll be some balancing things that end up happening. I guess my main point would be, as someone who's been in this game for a depressingly large amount of time now and done 3 seasons, is sort of what's next. Sort of season 4 is pretty similar in a way to what we had in season 1, in terms of pretty similar layout, introduce a few new units, a new map. At some point, I guess there's going to have to be a deviation from this formula, and to try and reinvent the game slightly, add something new in that's different to the current formula. So I hope some thoughts going into that at some point, thinking a bit further ahead than just season to season.
Okay, so there's a few concerns raised then, but nothing I would say too major, is there? It's more about actually not knowing really fully what to expect, isn't it? So what we're going to do is we're going to move on from all of the season chat now, because I want to try and keep this going a little bit quicker than we did last time. So I'm going to go over to you, Zim, for a quick 5-10 minutes. You are running and heading up some tournament stuff on the tournament server. I know you've already mentioned it, but I know you want to talk about it a little bit more. So if you want to take the mic, mate.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I know a lot of us, I think, are. I'm not sure if any of you are. Evo, have you put in a submission yet?
I haven't. No, I
No?
think I don't think I'm going to. I think Trying to keep up with the
a little
videos
bit of
is hard
work.
enough.
Yeah, dude, it's hard. I've been like slacking on videos lately and kind of transitioning into like streams and doing like community stuff.
Yeah,
So,
I'll come and cheer at the sidelines in your tournaments.
hey, that works too, man. We need those too, right?
That's easier. I'll let you do the hard work.
Yeah, no, of course, right? I do have a 5v5 tournament I want to do that I'm waiting for the date. I heard from Drew tomorrow. I for sure should have a date. But I don't know. It's been about a week and I feel like that's been said, but we'll see. I know things keep changing. I don't blame them at all. I'm sure the devs are pushing things back because they gotta keep working on stuff and make sure the servers are ready. You know, it's a lot of work. So I totally get it. But yeah, I know Daddy Death is also gonna have a tournament. I think his is gonna be first. I'm trying to recall what his is. It's like 3v3 field battle, I'm pretty sure. So that should be pretty fun. Mine, like I said, is a 5v5 all melee unit tournament with draft mode where no one can have the same units. And also you could ban one unit from each side for each team. And all the hero classes have to be different on one team. So there's no like stacking bows or muskets or whatever, you know. So hopefully it's not too hard getting, you know, the 5 people each that you need for a team. So but yeah, that's about
Awesome.
all the
So-
stuff I
so
got
is there-
so far.
Is there any way that people can sign up for this or anything like that yet, Zim, or is it just waiting and keeping an eye out for it?
Yeah, just keep an eye out for it because honestly, we don't even have dates, so it's hard to promote. I know we're doing like Discords. I have the CB Fight Club where like you fill out your information, so then you don't have to when you enter the tournament. So yeah, that's like what we're doing right now. It's just getting people's information that we'll need for tournaments, so when they want to jump in and sign up, they can easily do that. A little bit of process,
Awesome.
but we're getting
So
there.
just keep an eye out for it at the minute.
Yeah,
then.
there will be. I'll make a banner for mine, so you'll see a banner somewhere, hopefully.
Awesome. So hopefully on the next podcast we'll have a bit more info about it then.
Yeah, I'll try to keep you up to date. We'll definitely have to wait and see.
Sweet. So I'm going to just open the mic out to all of you in here at the minute. Is there anything else that you want to just spend like a couple minutes talking about or bring up with us as we're talking here, or shall we start moving on to the questions people have asked?
I mean, sorry.
Go on.
ahead.
No, go ahead, Moof. You go ahead.
Thanks. Cheers. There was just the one thing we obviously, if you're part of the content creators thing that they've set up, our own Discord and stuff, looked at the campaign that we were looking to do this March through hopefully Australia or something, you know, along the plains, where we're doing a march against sort of toxicity and racism and all things bad in gaming. So Drew has obviously gone back to the artists and they've come back with the artwork, but because of the season 4 and the stresses involved in that, that will probably be done once season 4 starts. So keep an eye out in when that's going to be announced. So hopefully we'll get an official announcement when we're going to do that march. So we did ask for our own banner in game, but I think the wires got crossed a bit there. So I think we're going to try and sort of use one of the standard banners and then do like a walk through Australia or something like that. So I think it'll be quite good. So that's all I wanted to add.
Awesome. Go on then, Rod.
Thanks, Glyn. Thanks.
That's okay,
No, I
mate.
was just
No
going to
worries.
ask if, well, it's a question to you guys. Do you think, firstly, there will be a new class in the new season? If so, or
Fingers
if not,
crossed.
if so or if not, what class would you like to see come to the game?
Cool, that's a
Yeah.
question.
I think
got
we can
two,
say there
actually,
almost
too.
certainly won't be, but
Well, yeah. At this point, it's pretty much confirmed that there won't be. Yeah. But what kind of class would you like to see?
I would personally love to see like a flail class come in, so the flail that the Iron Reapers use, but actually for a hero weapon. I think that would be quite cool to use.
Yeah. Evo?
Yeah, I would be all for
I'd
that.
like to see like a proper pike class. So I know we have the spear, but the spear doesn't play like a spear as I would think of a spear. I'd like to see like maybe even a spear and shield, like perhaps not quite like a phalanx-led spear, perhaps not a fortebrecio, but like a
Like a hold fast.
Spear sergeant.
proper,
like a spear sergeant.
yeah, like a spear sergeant. Yeah, exactly. Something like that. I'd like to see as a class that actually stabs with a spear.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Interesting.
I'll jump in really quick if you guys don't mind. One, I would like to see double axe. Double axe would be really cool. High attack, low defense. Maybe a sustained class, kind of like Nadachi. But besides that, there was another one. Oh, martial arts. I mean, why not? You know, like someone that's actually really talented. Not like necessarily a ninja, but maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking too much like League of Legends, where it's like Lee Sin kind of idea. But yeah, I guess those are two. Mine.
There really is only one weapon I would want to see. And it's pretty easy. It's dual wielding Rodachis instead of one. So that's the only class.
The master class.
Mega
like
heals constant.
God mode, you know, like with that.
What about you, Myth? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I've got a few suggestions in chat as well. So someone said a Sparta, sort of like a Spartan, but I think that's more kind of like short sword and shield. But so I'm not sure, like what the Spartan would be different with. And then, but Evo, you've got a fan in my stream says they love your videos. Thank you as well.
We love you, Evo.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
So someone said a Sparta would be the phalanx. Okay, yeah, no, that's a good one. I quite like that. And someone said a Morning Star one with a fail. And obviously we mentioned in the last one my favorite, which is William Tell, crossbow. I think that would be quite cool. I mean, we've seen crossbow in Walking Dead, used by, I forget the character's name now, but
Dale.
Yep, that's one. Yeah, so something like that I think would be cool. And also we talked about a sort of like a Viking one as well, didn't we? With 2 axes, sort of thing. But I think in this one it's, a Turkish one. I don't know. I think the Turks had this sort of like really wide blade, didn't they? So maybe just another type of longsword, or just like you said, actually wielding 2 large sort of Turkish blades, almost like scimitars.
Just the mention of the crossbow, you maybe think, well, how cool would it be, like, if you took like the Call of Duty Nazi zombies and made medieval zombies?
Oh,
Have a zombie survival mode in Conquerors Blade.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that Onto the Breach?
It was
I
a
suppose,
Halloween
sort of.
event as well, yeah.
Kinda, right? It was
Yeah,
kind of like
kind
it felt like
of.
zombies coming at you.
Yeah. Change the model slightly. That'd be perfect.
They even jumped. Remember they had that jump for the samurais? It was awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna yoink someone out of Zim. It's actually in your chat. Like somebody said medium armor Zweihander would be pretty cool. Like just a giant 2-handed sword, just maximum damage kind of thing. Would be pretty cool. But yeah, that was my question, Glyn. If you wanna,
Awesome.
I'll go back to my corner.
It's all right, mate. So is there anything else that anyone wants to bring up or anything? If not, then
Can I, so
just between us, like just very quickly for the last minute
Yeah.
or so before we move on to the questions.
I know we touched on it. Well, you guys touched on it a little bit in the first podcast, talking about like differences in fiefs and stuff like that, and how you could make them more valuable and more important to a house, maybe more customizable. I think if we could come to a day where we could have customizable fiefs, in which you could basically pick the layout within an area. Obviously, you can't affect the enemy spawn points to attack you, but like in future seasons, I'd like to see something like this that actually gives us, because some people have 10,000 prestige burning a hole in their house now because there's no reason to declare war. You can just go attack things, right? I'd want to be able to see something like that. I don't know how you guys would feel about that kind of thing. There'd obviously have to be a lot of constraints and a lot of feedback back and forth between the community and the devs for that. And then maybe something in making Feast more valuable in the sense of improvement of their assets, like maybe allowing treasures to, like the rare treasures you get when you harvest things, maybe allowing those to be stockpiled in some way over time, like theoretically like an AI mining or something, where these things can just basically pay your house out a little bit more. Or maybe using these treasures, because right now they have no crafting purpose, maybe in crafting doctrines, actually being able to do something like that as well, because some players kind of have a hard time getting those treatises as well. There's just a lot of little things I think we could do to toy around with fiefs to make them more valuable, because I see a lot of the players in the EU content creators talking in the Discord saying how fiefs just don't really matter as much. They don't have a great value.
That's the thing. At the minute, really, we're all only capturing thieves, aren't we, for the supplies out on the world map, and then the kits we can make from them.
And also just the silver as well. But you've got to do quite a lot of, capture quite a large region to actually benefit from the silver.
Yeah, so actually customizing, like you said, Rigz, we touched on this quite heavily in the first podcast, but actually having the ability to customize your fiefs and level them up and build them up actually to how you want them as a house, I think it definitely is an area they need to explore massively with the game.
I mean, I'm a massive fan of that. I'm architect by profession, so I'd love to see that kind of building aspect as well. The one thing I thought was interesting is these new buildables that they're bringing in, and I must say I don't really quite grasp the idea around them yet. So do you know if those are going to be buildables just out in the open whenever you want, or are they more specific to TWs, and how do they differ from field camps?
From what I've read and from what I kind of have gathered so far, I think it's going to be more TW dependent at the minute, and they're going to offer you different things compared to your field camps and things. But what they're actually going to be offering, I haven't really been able to figure out myself. I don't know if any of you guys have got any other feelings or anything you've dug up about them.
We'll certainly find out on Friday.
Yeah,
we will.
We will. Should make groups
my
for us
concern
too.
is, will we find out, because it's TW related. So
I'm sure as we get the run through. So for everyone that's not yet aware of, on Friday, hopefully on Friday, this is subject to change. However, Friday the 10th of July, some of us content creators have been invited to actually go onto the test server and run through Season 4 with one of the influencer managers, and then actually have a run around the game, see what's changed, see what we're getting in Season 4 and everything like that as well. So hopefully we're going to be able to show you quite a bit of stuff between us all. So hopefully, in terms of the things that we can build out in the map, even if it is TW dependent, we might actually be able to just get some answers out of someone about it. I think that's all we can hope for really at the minute.
Well, what's nice is Drew will actually give us a full rundown before we actually go into playing, so that's kind of nice. It's what he did last time, so hopefully he does it again.
Yeah. So I think for Friday, we, from what I've kind of read and spoken to Stuart about, we're gonna get, like you said, run through everything. We're gonna get shown stuff, told stuff, and all the rest of it. I don't think there's gonna be a huge amount of time for questions and answers for him. But if we can try and steer him towards certain things as he's showing us them, I think we might be able to discover a few more answers out of things.
Yeah.
So just out of us all here, who's actually planning on attending Friday if you've been invited?
I will.
I will be attending to Mouflon.
Yeah, I'm gonna attend as well. Hjulstad.
Yeah, I should be there as well.
Yeah, I'll
Zim?
be there.
Awesome. So pretty much all of us that have been invited are going to be there. So you'll be able to catch stuff across all of our channels, which is going to be good. Because actually, right now, we know as much as you guys do that are watching and listening. We don't get really told anything other than what goes out in the official news. We get told probably a couple hours before, and that's it if we're lucky. But sometimes we don't actually get told anything until it goes official. So keep an eye out on Friday and jump into one of our streams or my YouTube videos on it when I actually publish them out, and hopefully we'll be bringing a lot of answers about Season 4 and what we're going to be getting to you. So moving on to questions and answers. So I've had a few questions asked in a video that I put up about podcast or on my YouTube channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly read through the question, and I'm just going to ask like a couple of you, see if you've got an answer for it, and then we'll go from there, because I've got a few questions actually. So, and we're fast approaching an hour, so I want to try and blast through these. So the first one's through like I said, all these through YouTube, and the first one's from Ethan Detlaff. So he's most curious about what people feel about all the game changes coming to Season 4, so we have gone through all that already. However, the actual question he's got is, for right now, how does everyone feel about the current state of Golden Era units that are in the game? Are they OP? Are they broken? Does stuff need nerfing? Does stuff need buffing? What do you think of all that kind of stuff, Rod?
I'd say the only Golden Era, just picking up on that part, the only Golden Era in my eyes that needs some sort of nerf is the Rattans. Max Rattans in a fight. If you're outside of town and you've been called over to defend and you see 5 guys running up to you with Max Rattans, it's like you may as well just lie down and cry for a little bit. But apart from that, sorry, Rigz, go on.
I was like, they are getting nerfed for the second time, so that's definitely going to be a huge deal for all the people that run around in wolf packs.
Yeah, they just seem, they're the only kind of tier 5 that I kind of see at the moment as the stronger. Apart from that, I'd say most things are pretty balanced. Like Reapers, Iron Reapers, there's a counter to them. Pervice, obviously they had their troubles, but now they have a counter. Arquebusiers, if you've not got a shield in front of them, they're pretty easy to wipe out. Yeah, I'd say the only gripe I have is with Rattans really at the moment.
Does anyone here have any wildly different thoughts or feelings about that?
I could add, like, most of it I feel is kind of balanced. I agree on the Rattans. But also the Falconettes could use some kind of fine-tuning. But overall, I think that it's pretty balanced. I mean, a tier 5 unit should have high impact on the fight. But at the same time, as you say, all of it has... there is a counter to everything. So I think we're in a good place overall. I feel that the balance is getting better and better. And seeing new players have availability of the auxiliary units, it's also good. So they can actually try out stuff before they spend a lot of honor on it.
Yeah, I think I know I've already mentioned it once, but I think the mercenary and the auxiliary units are a fantastic implementation to this game. So moving on to the next question. So this one is going to go to Evo and Mouflon. So we'll go to you first, Evo. Do you think devs will redo the stun mechanic of the game, so including status, immunity, damage reduction during stuns, something to prevent the stun lock?
No. I don't think they will. I think that's too integrated now as part of it. I think there might be adjustments and balances and sort of nudges this way and that, but I don't think we'll see a wide-scale rework. Whether that's a good or a bad thing, I don't know, but I don't think we will.
Mouflon, have you got any further thoughts at all on that?
I as well don't think they're going to change that. It is a very integral system, and I think a lot of people have kind of made some pretty amazing suggestions as well, like on how to kind of try and change that system up a bit. but I really don't think they're going to change it at this stage. I mean, they did introduce the doctrines and stuff. Now, whether they'll start doing stuff like that on sort of like hero level, or in terms of kits, the way you whether you'll be able to start crafting sort of kits and things like that in a different with different stats, and I've no idea. But these things have already been suggested, and there hasn't been any indication that they're kind of looking into it, so I don't think that's something they're going to be sort of implementing.
Awesome. So I forgot to say that was from Johan Klutz again on YouTube. So moving on to the next one, just a very, very quick one. So from Das George, how do you counter winged hussars, Zimster?
Sorry, say that one more time.
How do you what's the best counter to winged hussars?
Ooh.
Not Ottoman units.
I mean, I guess I honestly I haven't really used hussars. To be honest with you, I haven't gone there. Like I said, I just started mid-season last season, so it's like I haven't even got to hussars yet.
I'm glad you got that question.
It's
a hard one.
So funny. I don't want to answer on it because I don't know, because I don't play them.
A small fence.
So does anyone actually play hussars in here quite regularly? What have you found is the best counter to them?
I use them a fair bit. I mean, with the new patch, they're very light armor. So as long as you've got a brace unit set up, or a countercharge unit set up, or pike set up, as long as you time the counters right, then most things will stop them now. I think the only things that don't obviously stop them is your ranged, but most units with shields will hold against, maybe not completely wipe out, but will hold against the hussar charge. I think Evo, I was watching your testing on when Season 3 was about to drop, and you were doing tests for cavalry charges and stuff.
Yes.
I think the hussars lost. I think they lost half against a counter charge of Serex or something. So there is the counters, but you've just got it's all about timing with Season 3 against cavalry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So, last and final question, and this kind of goes out to all of you again. So, as content creators, how do we all feel about the devs? Do they appreciate us? Do they give us enough credit as content creators? As Hunter Pona on YouTube says, do you think devs give credit enough to their content creators, as you guys are the ones who basically promote the game and voice out to people about game balancing? He's also considering becoming a content creator as well. So do any of you have any strong thoughts on actually, do we get enough credit? Do we get enough appreciation? Are we mentioned enough, say, in the community as content creators?
I think they do a pretty decent job of looking after us generally. I think they're pretty responsive, answer questions pretty quickly. It's good they've got the Discord set up and everything. So I think in terms of looking after us, they do a reasonable job.
Yeah, and I would actually agree with that. So I have done YouTube videos for other games, and actually I feel Conquerors Blade, the influencer managers, the community managers, definitely not look after us, but do appreciate us a lot more than some other gaming companies do.
I think, to answer the other part of the question of, how much influence do you have in terms of balance and stuff, I think that's much harder, because it's so removed by the time you get my.com to booming games, and then to our level. I think there's such a disconnect there that I think it's very hard to get sort of the idea of let's balance this class by the time that gets to the Discord, and then if you agree to a community manager, to the producer, from my.com to booming, I think there's such a disconnect. I think you're unlikely to see any change there.
Yeah. So for the rest of you then, do you feel appreciated as content creators in promoting the game, in streaming it quite often, and building up your own communities? Do you feel like you get enough credit from community managers and Conquerors Blade as a whole?
I mean, I think we do. I mean, I think, well, I suppose I'm speaking for myself, but just the fact that they give us a voice as well, you know, they gave us the opportunity to be on our own sort of Discord, have, you know, more access to CMs and stuff. And just being able to have that where you can ask questions as well, and their, you know, their response times are very good. I think any game can do, you know, we're always going to find kind of flaws and things and stuff, and but I think what really I sort of love about it is that they respond, you know. So even if it's going to be an answer you don't want to hear, they're looking into it and they're giving responses. So I think, yeah, and I think that side of things as well is really good, really necessary as well, I think, in a game like this as well. So it's really good to see that they do actually appear to be sort of supporting us as well, you know, by doing the content creator spotlights as well, which a few of you have read your stories as it is. And so yeah, I think they are, you know, any company can do better, but I think if we were to suggest stuff to them, I'm sure they would, you know, look into it as well. So yeah.
The only issue I have it's just using us more. Now, not me specifically, but let's look at like the one glaring, like, super important instance this season was when they promoted them all with half Thor, right? And they didn't teach him how to play the game. Like, they didn't get him. They didn't get him in a Discord with Hjulstad or anybody in his area to teach him, like, hey, you press this button, you do stuff, right? The guy, unfortunately, like, didn't promote the game as well as he could have because he didn't know what he was doing. He wasn't taught by an experienced member of the content creators.
He's not a sort of like
he's not a gamer for sure, right? But
no, he has his own Twitch stream, but he plays chess. So what I was going to say, it's not his game. His game is chess and board games, and he's good at the board games.
Yeah.
But that's what he does in his spare time. He's not carrying a mole around, you know, which people would expect. He's relaxing, playing board games, which is quite interesting. So I think that's where it kind of, kind of failed a bit for them as well. I think they saw him, you know, thought, oh yeah, we'll get the mountain in, do this thing, and you know, they didn't really think it through. I don't think, but it was a good attempt, I think. But you know, I agree with you. I think they could have done something to try and show him the ropes, or got him teamed up with somebody that could help, exactly like what you said. Yeah.
So anything that you want to add about content creation then, Hjulstad, Rod?
Well, no, I think everyone has brought up very important pieces of it. And how I look at it, this is my first time. I actually started streaming first time in Conquerors Blade. But I do feel that having the chance to actually get promoted in some way for doing the things you like doing anyway, and gaining benefits by just basically, you can give your viewers something and help them out, gain a bigger audience. So it's only helping the content creators because they just keep doing what they always do. It's just that you get help, basically. So I'm really happy with the content creator program.
Awesome. So anything else to add, Ruddus?
I'm sorry, you can go first.
No, because I can't really comment. You know, I'm not.
Well, I was actually going to ask you, Rod, as someone that's aspiring to come into the content creation. Yeah, I know you're really streaming, you're really hitting it hard, you're getting involved with everyone. Is there anything that you can see from like the outside? Well, how would you feel we're treated as content creators?
I can only go. It's a grind. If you want to do just CB, it's a long walk. Like, it's not, because the problem is viewership is based on how popular the season is, right? as the season comes to an end, I've noticed obviously my viewership goes down because people are going, oh, I'll have a break now, I'll go off and play someone else. So they're not watching CB. Whereas like you guys obviously get like promotion and stuff like that. I'm not saying, you know, oh yeah, you get it, it's easy for you guys. I'm just saying more along, if you want to get into it, go for it and absolutely do it. But don't expect pulling, I don't know, Evo's numbers or Glyn's numbers, for example, off the rip. Do you know what I mean? Like they've put in the work on their own, like as much as anybody else has to. I think, yeah, is the best way to kind of sum up.
It cuts both ways though, in the sense of I think as you were saying, sort of with it being CB, as in like yeah, you do struggle sometimes on viewerships as player numbers drop, but equally you're fighting in a much smaller pond than
absolutely
Fortnite or something, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
but your numbers can drop from like, I don't know, 15 to 20 will drop down to like 5 towards the end of the season. At least that's what I've noticed.
Yeah, I mean, even yeah, I would absolutely agree. I mean, I've noticed on the video numbers dropping from where we were right at the start of the season. Yeah, I'd echo that.
So, anything that you want to add in finals, Zim?
Push the talk, Zim.
Yeah, sorry. No, I was talking to someone in my channel too, so I was just like, sorry, I'm back and forth. We're talking about, do we feel like devs have been doing a good job, like content managers and devs? That's like...
Yeah, so do you feel appreciated as a content creator? Do you feel appreciated enough and kind of highlighted enough and given enough stuff from the developers, from the community managers?
I mean, to be honest, at first I felt like no, but obviously it's because I was new and I had to learn, you know, the hang of things and like how things worked. It was a whole new process for me, and I'm sure it is for a bunch of people that haven't been content creators before. This is the first time I like actually committed to like creating as many guides that I could that were useful and actually just share them on YouTube and see how it goes. It's just I've been doing well, and I'm happy that people are checking out my videos. There's just stuff I still have to redo, you know, I'm not perfect. Just like Evo says, like you get better over time, and that's why like Evo's doing so great on videos, because you just got better over time. So if you stick to it, you know, it's my hobby, so you know, I'm gonna stick to it and just do the best I can, and give as much information as I can and help other people in the community. That's all I really can ask for. So I'm happy at the sense that I'm at a point where I feel like I am considered for things, which is awesome. So I thank you guys for that, like being considered for this podcast or being considered to do a tournament. You know, anything along those lines is kind of cool to me. So I'm happy to be a part of it.
Awesome. So I hope this podcast has been enjoyable. I know we've gone over an hour. We've done it, guys. We've gone over an hour again, and we got to try and shorten it. But I'm going to end the podcast there. Again, if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions for any of us or how to run this podcast in future, please do let one of us know, either through our streams or on the video if you're watching this in a video format. I just want to say thank you all to coming on the podcast, because I know there's quite a few of us today. There's 7 of us today, and actually I don't think it's been too out of control, has it? I think we've all kind of taken it in turns and everything and respected each other, which is quite good to see, because I know once we start going above like 4 or 5, it can become a little bit difficult. But I want to thank you all for coming on to the podcast. So Evo, Hjulstad, Mouflon, Mr. Rigz, Ruddus and Zimster, what I'm going to do is in the video I'm going to put links in the description box below to all of their channels, and I'm going to be putting up their logos actually through the video as well, so you know you're finding the exact right person. I hope you've all enjoyed being part of the podcast. That's you guys actually talking on it as well as people listening to it. Please tell me if you haven't, so I can change stuff if needs be. But have you all enjoyed tonight, speaking, coming on and everything?
Yeah, man, it's good. No, it's good.
Yeah, always a blast. Always a blast. I like talking to you guys. It's good to get that information out, you know.
Yeah, and I think I mean I really enjoy it because of the different ideas and just you know, a lot of what we do is speculation and stuff, but it's good fun, and yeah, it's quite nice being with the other enthusiasts of the game as well. So.
Yeah, and it like you say, it's nice talking to actually other people doing different things in the game as well. So thank you all for coming on again. I really appreciate it, and I'm hoping these podcasts are going to keep on going. We're going to aim for actually the next one. It's going to have a bit of a bigger gap between this one and the next one. The next one we're going to aim for the week where season 4 comes out. So we're going to let season 4 come out on the 21st of July. We're going to all play it for maybe 4 or 5 days, and then we'll try and get a podcast around that time so we can start to discuss the actual season and how it's going right at that point. So how does that sound to all of you?
Groovy.
Yeah.
I do think there's a lot of information.
Exactly
there is a
what
lot
I
of
wanna hear,
information
Rob.
though that we're going to be getting in the next like 4 days that we're gonna wait speculating on then for like 3 weeks. Is that what's going on? I know.
Yeah, so
Push comes to shove and there's big news.
obviously between us all, if it's really big news, we'll try and pull a podcast together. However, I think we're all expecting big stuff to come out of season 4, and I know I'm definitely going to be making a lot of videos on it, and I'm sure you guys are going to be streaming it and passing the news out there as well. So unless something massive comes out, but we just have to talk about it. Elephants at last.
Next season will be Africa.
Then we'll look to do the next podcast in about two and a half weeks or so. We'll look at. So thank you all for coming on. Thank you all for listening in Zimster stream and Mouflon stream. Thank you all for watching this video. If you're watching the video on my channel as well, like I said, all the links to everyone involved in the podcast are down in the comments below. Leave me a comment on this video and tell me exactly how you feel about this podcast. Do you like this format? Do you want us to change? Is there anything that you want us to cover in future? But for now, we're going to leave it there, and we hope we all catch you on the battlefield.
GG.
Cheers, guys.
GG.
Bye.
GG.